And also there is this thing where we have siblings and they try to talk to your parents on your behalf. Like they tell your parents some stuff we didn't even want to tell your parents. They want to look like superheroes and all that.
Yeah.
You know, so just have
playing
respect.
nice.
Yeah. If there is something going on in their life, give room for them to come and explain to the parents. You know, give them time. Maybe they're not ready enough to explain those stuff that are going on with them. Maybe it's your sister who has a boyfriend and they're planning to get married. Don't go and tell your parents, Mommy Flani has a boyfriend.
Making the announcement.
Maybe
for
they're
them.
not even ready, right?
Or maybe they're not even sure.
They're not sure
about.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome back to our new episode of the Growth Conversation podcast. We are excited you decided to join us on this episode. So my name is Lyndah and I'm here with my co-host Gabriel.
Yeah, and once again we want to thank everyone who has been watching us, those of us who have subscribed, our new members, and also for those of us who have left their reviews. I tell you, your reviews are being put to use. And the videos that are coming next, we are going to be answering some of your questions that you have asked on our podcast. So remember to subscribe, remember to like, and finally remember to share.
Yeah, and before we start, I just want to read a review on our last video where we talked about knowing your self-image. Just to thank you guys for commenting on our videos, for leaving your reviews, for liking and subscribing. So I'll read a review from the video Knowing Your Self-Image, and that is from Kiba99 on YouTube. He says this: the insecurity point. Thumbs up. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for commenting and leaving that. We're really happy that we did that. At least we know we didn't talk like
it was not wasted.
It was not wasted.
It was not wasted.
Yeah,
yes.
and I'm really glad that we touched on a topic that for you it's very important.
Yeah, thank you, Kiba, and everyone else. Make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you drop a comment to us.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about boundaries. Is boundaries really necessary in our life?
Wow. Maybe you can start by sharing your view. What is the boundary anyway?
For me, when I talk about boundaries, I put it this way. I'll give it in a kind of a story. You know, when you get a house, you've gotten a place, you've built your own house. At the end of the day, you have to put on your fence, right? So depending on which fence you're going to put will really affect your relationship with your neighbors. So if you have a good fence, that means you're going to have like 99%, if not 100, you're going to have a good relationship with your neighbors. But if you don't have boundary, if you don't have the fence, obviously you're going to fight because maybe your cattle are going to go to the other person's property, or even kids, you know, running from
Dogs,
here to there. Yeah, like there are so many things that are going to happen. You'll find yourself hurting your neighbor and all that. So having that fence really determine your relationship with your neighbors. That's exactly how we talk about boundaries in our life. Having boundaries will help you have a good relationship with people around you.
Wow. My view is a bit different. Boundaries to me are our yeses or no's of life. What I can take and what I cannot take. They are like the rules of engagement. If you come to me, what should we observe as we converse, as we relate? What can I allow you to do for me, and what can I not allow you to do for me? All right? What can I say and what can I not allow myself to say? Because I also put boundaries even on me. There are things I would not allow myself to do. There are things I would not allow myself to say. But there are also things I will not allow you to say or to do to me. So that is basically what I see as a boundary.
Yeah, it's more of the same because even having a fence, like the illustration I gave, having a fence allows you not to do something to your neighbor.
Yes.
And also your neighbor not to do something to you
that you don't
want.
It's
just like having boundaries when it comes to your bedroom matter. It is a stop for the other people to come to your bedroom. and the beginning of where you're going to meet them, you know, and at the end of where they're going to end in your house, like the door, right?
Yes.
So I think your illustration is more, it's just the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Just the way you've said, when you have a fence, it is where it helps in avoiding the conflict. Somebody knows this is the end, or I know this is the end of where I'm going to reach.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
the same to them.
Absolutely. So are they necessary?
They are necessary.
Very necessary.
And most of the time people tend to think that having boundaries makes you a mean person, but I don't think so. Because later in life, when you interact with people, is when you know that having boundaries is really, really important. Because at first they might think that you are mean, but once they come to understand that through your boundaries you have really, really avoided a lot of things, now they start wanting to put boundaries as well. Yeah, because if, for example, I have friends, they come to my house and my boundaries is no going to my bedroom, and every time we go to another person's house, they allow, at the end of the day, after some time you will hear them quarreling. Maybe there was some money stolen in her bedroom and all that. So there's a lot of quarrels, when you don't have boundaries. When you don't put boundaries, there's a lot of disrespect and all that. But when you have boundaries, there's a lot of respect, because you know where to step and where not to step. Yeah.
Well, maybe I can share my personal experience with boundaries. Earlier on, I think I struggled with setting boundaries, because I always wanted people to like me. I thought allowing people that freedom is what makes people appreciate you.
No.
So I think I give myself too much.
Yeah.
And especially in terms of finances.
Yeah.
I found myself loaning people. People taking advantage of my finances just because I wouldn't set the line on which they wouldn't cross. And I can remember one time I invited my friend, and he came and collected money from my table, and he knew I wouldn't ask for it.
Wow.
He knew I would not, so he just took it. And when I asked, he told me, it is just me who had taken it. It was nothing.
It was nothing.
It was nothing. And from that point is when I realized I really need to come up with grounds on which to engage with people.
How to set your boundaries.
Yeah, and I think from there, that's when I told him to pay me back.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to pay me back, that was the end of the relationship.
End of the friendship.
And since then, now up to today, we are very good friends now.
But there is boundaries.
But right now, he cannot cross some lines.
Yeah.
I was able to establish them at that point.
Yeah, true. That's nice. So I wanted us to look at places where we should have boundaries. So I'm just going to name like 4 of them, and then we'll go on from there.
Yes.
So the first place I think we should have boundaries is in our relationship.
Absolutely.
Any relationship, friendship, marriage, parents and kids, all relationships.
Even in partnerships, even in businesses, you really need to draw the lines.
Any relationship you have to draw your lines.
People
need to know how they are going to engage with you and how they're not going to engage with you. It will even help you in your communication. People know how they're going to talk to you.
Yes, absolutely. If you allow people too much,
when you come to me, you can't talk with me with all these bad languages.
There's some language
and all
you
that.
can't allow.
They can't. But once you allow, they will do that.
Yeah, they will obviously do that. I think this one is quite regular, very regular. I think even in our day and age, we find ourselves struggling so much with telling people, Lyndah, don't cross here.
Yeah.
Because we feel like if we tell them, we might lose them.
Yeah.
But I found out that it is when you have the boundaries that you relate better.
Exactly.
It is not when you don't have the boundaries. It is when you have the boundaries that you relate better.
Yeah.
Because people know when and how.
Yeah.
When and how to approach you.
Yeah.
You find out, like, maybe for example, I usually do study a lot at night. All right? And you are my friend. So if we don't have boundaries, you'll come in just anytime. And you see, at night is my time of study. So I don't want anyone to engage me at that time, no matter who. All right?
Yeah.
So if I allow you to visit me anytime or to call me anytime, I end up losing my study.
Exactly.
Because of you.
I want to satisfy you.
Because I want to satisfy you. And that's how we lose and lose and lose, and eventually realize we do not even have a life.
Yeah, true.
We do not have a life anymore. Our life has been given to the other person.
Other people. Yeah, and setting boundaries need to be communicated. And just as we said, having boundaries that does not reduce your friendship with people. Instead, it really grows your relationship with people. Don't be afraid to tell people that in this line you can't cross. For me, you can't speak to me the way you want. Even with your partner. For example, with me, with my husband, there's a way we can't communicate to each other. There are things we can't tell each other. Not because couples don't do that. It's because our standard, it's not allowed. And it's okay. You know, every relationship has a different foundation. So depending on how you created your foundation, kindly communicate the boundaries. Let the other person know. And it's not bad to communicate the boundaries. At the end of the day, you really thank yourself for doing that, because you really, really avoid a lot of trouble.
I think the hard part is the part of communicating. People find it hard
to communicate.
To tell someone, I don't want you to come to my house without calling. And I think it is something you have to be bold enough.
Just do it with action. For example, for me, if if you're friends, we will talk. At some point, I will really put it out. I don't like people coming to my house without calling me.
Calling you.
But once you come, or you call me when you are at the gate, I don't pick up the call.
Yes.
Or if I pick up the call, I'll tell you I'm not at home.
I'm not available for that.
I'm not at home.
Yes.
People have told me, right?
Yes.
Not because I don't want to see them. It's just because I want to set the boundaries.
You want
so that
to
next
make
time,
it clear to them.
Because by the way, when you talk about boundaries, it also affects you. When you say, I don't want people to come to my home without calling me, don't go to other people without calling them as well.
Yes.
You know,
it is a boundary on your side and also on the other
person's side. So when you set boundaries, be sure that you're going to follow them as well.
Talking about relationship boundaries, how about, can we say that setting a boundary is for the purposes of disciplining the other person?
No,
because I think this is where we miss it.
No, it's
Many
not.
people think that if I set this boundary, this one is for fixing Lyndah.
No. Let me give an example. For example, you are there's a couple here.
Yes.
So one of them is doing studies for maybe his exam or just anything, you know, and you don't communicate to the other person that at this time I'm always doing my studies. Kindly, I need my me time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When the other person keeps on disturbing you, it creates fights, and then the other person thinks that you don't want to talk to them, and on your end, you feel like this person is not respecting me. He doesn't see that I want to study for my exam, you know. So there is that kind of conflict, right?
Yes.
If they need their attention, just let them know this time is my time, my me time, but after that we can do whatever you want us to do. Just communicate. It doesn't have to feel like a punishment. Because if you make the other person suffer, you will suffer as well.
But what I notice is that it's not a punishment.
It's not a punishment.
As per se. And when someone sets a boundary for you, especially in relationship, it's not necessarily to put you off or to fix you. It is to help you to be able to relate in a better way. In a better way. Because if at all you are influencing, you are coming to my house without you telling me, it means it is hurting me secretly. All right. So if I put the boundary, it means then I'm not hurt by you because you are communicating. So I feel much more comfortable relating with you now without you hurting me. I feel appreciated. I feel appreciated if you can respect that. So when we talk about boundaries, don't use boundaries like a way to fix the other person or to punish the other person, but as a way to help you engage in a better way without hurting each other.
And to create a lot of respect.
And to create a lot of respect in the relationship.
Can we go to number 2?
Yes.
Number 2 is work. Our workplaces.
Oh, now talk about work. One of the things that hurts me so much at work is someone coming and picking up my property, my stationery, my pen, my everything, and they don't say. They don't say. Just feel like
you just
because
go to
it's
somebody's
Lyndah's
workplace without even telling them, and you expect them to have your full attention.
People are in your drawers and checking some funny things. I think we need boundaries. We need boundaries.
Even the way we communicate to our colleagues, we need to have respect. And always ask. It's not bad to ask when you want something from your colleague. Just ask. If they say no, you know they don't want.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But also it's good to respect. First thing, especially at work, is the workspace.
Yeah, workspace.
Respect someone's workspace. Then the second thing is think about the language.
Yeah.
The language you use. You see, at work, we are different people coming from different places and with different ages and different goals. It is very important that you care about the words you use, especially at work. Even if you are engaging people for professional purposes, it is important that you watch your language.
Know how you're going to talk to people.
Know how you're going to talk to people. Then it's important to check at the time. Be careful of people's time at work. Yeah, someone people just got in the office and they just trying to set up there, and you are out there trying to share stories and what happened yesterday.
Or they just want to go home and you are here talking to them.
Yeah, trying to keep them and sharing some funny stories. It's important to look at people's time at work. It's
people's
key.
spaces.
People's spaces. And finally, to acknowledge their position, because sometimes at work we get used to people. We get overused. Maybe your supervisor is a good guy, is an easy man or an easy lady, so you start taking advantage. It's important to watch the position and the place in which someone is operating from.
And even if somebody is superior than you and the age is a bit lesser than you, just respect them.
It's important that you
give them the respect
and keep the boundaries of work. If it's the supervisor, respect him for that position. If it's the manager, respect them for that position. And if they are your juniors, respect them for that position as well. Don't underestimate people or just take advantage of their time or space just because you can. It's good if you want to have boundaries. Set yourself boundaries also.
And remember, as we always say, start with you.
Start with you.
Whatever you can't do to yourself, don't do it to other people.
Don't try it on other people.
Yeah, true. The other one is our homes.
Oh, now our homes.
And our homes, when you talk about our homes, it means maybe our family. If you are still at your home with your parents, with your siblings. If you're married, maybe with your partner.
With your nuclear partner.
Even if you're living with your grandmother, grandfather, whoever, like the families, or even neighbors. So you really have to have boundaries, especially if you're sharing some things at home with neighbors. Kindly have boundaries. Try to ask some things before taking them. You know, when you are in your house, remember you also have people who live there. Don't do stuff that will, make them uncomfortable.
Let's talk about siblings now that we are talking about family. And sisters who take clothes of each other. Now
that's how it depends on your foundation, how you are used to doing that. For some people, if they are both okay, that's fine.
That's okay. That's if there is an agreement, I can take from you.
Let's put on each other's clothes. But if somebody, one of them is not okay with that, just respect somebody's boundaries.
It's important to respect that.
Even coming to visit me as my brother or my sister, just tell me you're coming to visit me.
Absolutely. And even our rooms. Sometimes you just pop into your sister's room, pop in out of your brother's room, pop in. Well, there is that.
If you're sharing the room, it's okay,
but if someone has personal space, it's important to respect their space.
And also there is this thing where we have siblings and they try to talk to your parents on your behalf. Like they tell your parents some stuff we didn't even want to tell your parents. They want to look like superheroes and all that. So just have respect.
Nice.
If there is something going on in their life, give room for them to come and explain to the parents. Give them time. Maybe they're not ready enough to explain those stuff that are going on with them. Maybe it's your sister who has a boyfriend and they're planning to get married. Don't go and tell your parents, Mommy Flani has a boyfriend.
Making the announcement.
Maybe they're not even ready, right?
Or maybe they're not even sure.
They're not sure
about it.
Just give them the room to know each other. Let them come and tell the parents themselves
when they are ready.
Yeah.
And how about the case of parents and kids? And we realize that some kids really do not know the ground on which to level when it comes to parents. And the kids can go too far. Too far, maybe to speaking some private things to the parents, or not knowing when to stop. And it is important for us, even as kids and as parents, to understand the relationship between the parent and the kid, and what you should not go without permission, what you should not do without permission. Because nowadays we have these cases of a lot of disrespect between the parents, especially as teens, as we age up. We start feeling like we are equal now at home. We all of a sudden we became equal with the parents and equal with everyone.
Or just because you are learned now.
Just because you are learned now, the decision should be coming from you. And it's not always. It's not always.
Sometimes even if you feel like your parents are not saying the right thing, just don't argue with them.
Know how to go about it.
Just explain to them in a way they can understand politely, and also, and if they don't understand, don't argue with them. Just give them time. Maybe they will understand you as the time goes by.
As time goes by. Also, language at home.
Sometimes we feel like once we are grown-ups, we can tell our parents anything. Maybe you're the one now paying for them rent. You are the one buying them
financing
food.
Everything.
You can talk to them the way you want. They call you. You're like, I did send you some money yesterday. Like, don't do that. So
know your space.
At the end of the day, you are still the kid. Even if you are 80 years old, you're still the kid to your parents.
Doesn't matter.
That's
it
true.
Doesn't matter. Yes.
And the last one is places. Public places. Public places are like churches.
Yes.
Mosques. Like all these public places.
Now let me talk about one thing that really puts me off, because someone smokes just in front of you and they don't care.
True.
This one really bores me out.
Someone
just comes and they light up their cigarette and they're right next to you in a bus stop, and they really don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care what you feel, if you are not one of the smokers or something. And I think it's good to have boundaries, even when you engage with the public. How you speak, that's the first thing. When you engage with people, especially strange people, take care of how you speak. Because it tells them how much or what kind of language they will use back to you. All right? But it can also send some funny signals to people. And the picture you paint is now a completely awkward picture for yourself. So first thing, in public, watch your language. Watch your language. Even as you tell other people to watch their language,
you do watch your language as well.
Start with you. Then you should not allow people to just come and dump everything on you.
True.
You should not. If someone is trash talking, just leave.
Just leave.
Don't
have to answer.
Or excuse yourself, or just tell them whatever you're talking about.
That conversation is not okay.
It's not okay with me. It's good to have such boundaries.
And when I talk about the conversation, I really want to talk about public places, especially the church, because let me just say places of worship. We go to our places of worship with this mentality that people are not human, they are perfect and all that. And we go to places of worship and we found people who are servants there. We can get a woman who is sweeping there, usher, or anybody just doing their work in the places of worship there.
And it's voluntary.
And sometimes the way we try to judge them
and treat them,
and expect them to behave, it's not really okay.
It's not okay.
And sometimes we go to people and we believe that if I go to so and so, they can say this, they can do for me this, and if they don't, then they are not good people. Or we try to say some stuff to them as if they don't feel whatever you are saying. As if they don't get hurt. Just have boundaries. When you go to places of worship, public places, know that people out here have feelings. People have problems. People are dealing with issues. Don't just dump whatever you feel like you want to dump on other people. Respect other people's boundaries. If you talk to somebody and you feel they don't want to talk to you, just leave them.
Give them their space.
Don't start, putting all these things on people like they don't want to talk to us. I don't know. Like, we always judge people based on how they reply us, For me, if you come to me in a public place, sometimes I just look at you and I feel like I'm not ready to talk. I'll tell you, no, we can't talk.
We can talk.
Doesn't mean that I hate you, but maybe at that time I'm not in a position to talk.
Yeah.
So just respect people's
opinions and their thoughts.
Even as we go to our elections, just respect people's opinion. When you go to listen to this politician, kindly have boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Political seasons.
Yeah, we can. A person
don't
can come
abuse
here.
people.
Yeah,
just
true.
Because
either Uhuru or Raila or Ruto might be coming in this place, and all of us we go to see him, not because some of us are supporters of that person, but we just want to see his face
and even listen to whatever they have to say.
Yeah. So just have boundaries on how you're going to communicate with them as well. Yeah.
A few things maybe I'd like to add is that, number one, you're not responsible for what people think.
No, you are not.
You're not responsible for what people think.
You're not.
So stop worrying so much, not putting boundaries because you think you can manipulate how they think.
You can't.
You can do something so good, and yet people will still think.
People will think the way they want to think.
People will think the way they want to think.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. You don't control how people think. The second thing I'd like to say is that you don't control how people feel.
You don't.
You cannot control how people feel. So especially this is for people pleasers.
Yeah.
Because I have been there before, trying to please people, and you don't have boundaries.
Yes.
So you are trying to accept everything. So now if, for example, you are trying to abuse me, I just stay here and think that because I am going to stay, maybe Lyndah is going to feel good because I have allowed her to pour on me.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Don't
she might pour on you
don't
and still feel bad about you. All right?
Yeah.
So it is important to acknowledge that, so that you don't live life feeling that the reason why I can set boundaries is because I don't want to hurt their feeling. I don't want them to think like this or think like that. No, just think about you and them.
Somebody who loves you will love you no
matter what. No matter what, yeah.
You have boundaries on. If they love you, they will get
They're still going to be there
to stay with you.
Yeah.
And if they don't, no matter what you do, they will not stay.
They will not stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not going to influence how they feel.
No, it's not.
It's their decision to behave that way.
True.
So for you also have to come up with your own decision to behave in some way.
True.
And that's that way that you choose to behave, you should also expect to reciprocate.
True, exactly.
As you give, you should expect someone to give the same way, the equal measure of how you give.
And if they don't give, don't force.
You don't have to force it.
As long as
you don't have to entertain it.
You give whatever you feel like it should be given. That's okay.
Yeah, because people have this perspective of saying, what if I tell Lyndah now I don't want her to call me at night? What if I lose her as a friend? How about the consequences of boundaries? When for example, now I have set the boundaries. I have told you, Lyndah, don't call me at night. Now people fear the consequence. What if Lyndah does not accept that? What happens?
If they want to leave, let them leave. They are not meant for you.
Be free.
Be free.
Be free.
If I communicate what I really feel and you feel like you're offended,
you cannot respect
and you can't stay, just leave.
It's okay to leave.
Just leave.
It's okay to leave.
Because once you decide to please them, you will be in a position to constantly pleasing these people.
Yes.
If I tell you don't call me from 8 p.m. like 9 p.m. and I'm afraid that you'll get angry, you'll not be my friend anymore. That means that once I say, okay, now it's okay, you can call me, that means that every time I have to put myself down to make you feel better.
Yeah. I have to disrespect me to respect you.
Respect you.
Yeah. And it's very wrong. It's not right. It's not right. That's where we fix ourselves.
Now that you've spoken about the consequences, and it's just one, that you might lose that person, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because if somebody is for you, they will stay. They will respect.
And if you lose them, they were not your friend.
They were not meant to be there.
They were not your friend.
Yeah.
If someone cannot respect your boundary, they were not meant to be there. They were users. They were users. They were using you.
Yeah.
And some of the, maybe just to share, what are some of the effects if you don't have boundaries? What do you think are some of the effects? Or symptoms, because there are also symptoms of.
I think first of all, it's just being disrespected. That's
People will
biggest.
disrespect you.
People will use you.
Big time.
People will use you. And people know.
They know when you don't have boundaries. They usually they can see it.
If somebody loves me and I don't even care about them, and I know very well this person loves me, I'm going to use that person.
Yes.
If they're willing to do anything for me without even caring, I'm going to take advantage.
Yes.
You know.
Very much.
So you will be disrespected big time.
Yeah, you will be disrespected. I also found that you'll be used. You'll be so much used.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you are abused, especially emotionally. People will take advantage of you at your weak moments.
Exactly. And they know how to do it.
And they know how to do it because you don't
They will
have
not leave you with a change. Like they will use you.
They will use you big time.
Yeah.
And they know you cannot say no.
True.
So they always try and take advantage of you. So watch
So,
out on these things.
So we've talked about the effect and also the consequences of having that. Let us talk about some of the advantage, the good thing of having boundaries.
Well, number one is that you build strong relationships.
Exactly.
Any relationship without boundaries is a dying relationship. It's going to come to an end sooner or later.
True.
It's going to die. So don't think that now lacking boundaries is what is going to keep your relationship.
It's not.
It's not. And you look at it closely, the people who do not have boundaries do not have lasting relationships.
Yeah, they don't.
And those that look like they have very tough boundaries, they have very long-lasting relationships.
Healthy relationships.
Healthy relationships.
You can have a long-lasting but unhealthy.
Yes.
But when you have boundaries, you will have a healthy relationship. Because there's no fight all the time.
All the time, yes.
There is respect, you know. There is a time to be, there is a space to be authentic. So the relationship is going to be very healthy.
Very healthy.
Yeah.
The other thing, you will avoid getting used. You'll avoid getting used. If you don't have boundaries, people will use you. So at least have boundaries for your own safety.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The other thing is that it helps save you from emotional torture.
Yeah.
Because you see, if I have to do this for you and do the other thing for someone else, emotionally I'm getting torn, and eventually you get from stress to depression because of trying to please people. So if you want to safeguard your emotional stability, your emotional safety, have boundaries.
Yeah, true. And also, when you have boundaries, it will help identify who you are.
Yeah.
It will give a sense of identity. Because once you don't have boundaries, there is that dependency on people.
Yeah, codependency.
So you want to please people.
So you are not yourself.
When you have boundaries, you will be able to be in a place where you are alone and find out who you are. You know, because you can't set boundaries without asking yourself, who am I and what do I want? You know, I want to have a me time at night. That is as identity.
That is part of you.
That is part of me.
Exactly
I like being by myself at night. So it makes you find your identity. Right? Yeah. Because once I tell somebody you can't call me at night, it's because I have found out that at night is when I want my me time. Yeah, so having boundaries will really help in finding your identity. If you want to know who you are or your identity, then have boundaries. It will give you a space where you're going to be at a place where you are alone at times and decide whatever you want to decide. And also when somebody knows that they can't use you, then you have a room now to be you. Yeah, to be you. To be you. And to relate from the perspective of you. Not the other person. And explain what you think as you. As you. Yeah. Yes. So you end up getting a voice. Yeah. You have a voice when you set boundaries. Yeah. And if you don't set boundaries, you don't have a voice. Yeah. And that leads to you being independent. So you can make decision, you can do stuff by your own without depending on the other person. Because you know my boundaries is, you know, they know your boundaries. No, we cannot step from this further, you know. So let us give her time or his time to make his decision. So you become independent. You don't depend on people. And then the last thing, you become compassionate. Because once you have your boundaries, you are able to think about the other person's boundary. So you have that, you know, that thinking of what about the other person? You are able to see them as well. To see them from your perspective. Yeah. You are able to see them from where they are coming from. Yeah, so you become so compassionate. And people think that when you have boundaries, you're heartless. You're not heartless.
No, you're not heartless.
Because when I have boundaries, I am expected to have the boundaries to other people as well.
Yeah.
So that means I'm very careful not to hurt them.
To hurt them.
Not to think where they're coming from. So that makes me very compassionate. You know?
And at least stress-free.
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 Yeah.
If you don't have boundaries, you'll find yourself stressed. Especially at work.
Yeah.
Especially at home. Imagine living in a home where there are no boundaries. Everyone is hurting you, left, right, center, everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone is taking advantage of you. You'll never know peace.
Yeah,
You'll never know peace.
True.
So sometimes it also brings about peace.
If it's at home, you constantly come at home, you find somebody wearing your trouser, your dress. You go out, your friends are hurting you. Like, that is a bad life.
Yeah, that's you don't have peace.
Yeah. Do you have anything to wrap up?
No, I think we are good.
Yeah.
We should set boundaries. We should set boundaries. For anyone who does not have boundaries, you should be very quick to set boundaries.
Yeah.
People will respect you more when you have boundaries. People will relate with you better when you have boundaries.
Yeah.
And you'll not have a lot of stress dealing with people.
Communicate your boundaries. Communicate. Some people don't know. Just tell them.
Tell them.
You know, don't be afraid to say. Communicate. At this time, you can't call me. You can't come visit me at work anytime you want. You must call me. You know, you can't speak to me the way you want. Like, communicate these boundaries. You know,
they have no meaning if they are set and not communicated.
Don't assume.
They only have meaning when they are communicated.
Yeah, don't assume that, oh, they know this is. No, just tell them.
Yeah,
let them know.
Let them know.
And they will respect you for that.
Absolutely.
And I think we are
good from
good
us
on this video. Thank you for staying tuned till the end of the video. Thank you for listening on our podcast or viewing our YouTube video. We are really, really thankful for that. We don't take you for granted. Thank you for the support. And kindly continue subscribing and also leave your comment down below on the comment section. If it is on podcast you're listening, kindly leave your reviews, give us some rating. If you like our conversation, kindly give us a 5-star.
Yes, absolutely.
And we will really, really, really appreciate.
Yeah.
But from us,
adios. See you next time.
Bye bye.